Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be just a quick one. It's one of my kind of classics, I guess. There is a video that includes this recipe for this protein cheesecake, but it's kind of embedded in a larger, I think it was a full meal prep video that we did. So I make these on a regular basis and I love to have them in the fridge. They're a super yummy treat. That just kind of like can be had anytime you're looking for a special treat, or if you're wanting to just kind of have some cheesecake for breakfast. You can do that as well and justify it. It's really, really healthy and is a yummy treat. There's lots of different ways that we can kind of top it. And so we'll talk about a couple of those, but we're just going to go ahead and blend it up and get it cooking. So as always, we're going to preheat that oven. We want that to be at 350 degrees. And we're going to go ahead and grab the ingredients that we need. So I'm going to get out of the fridge. I'm going to grab my cottage cheese. Then we need some eggs out there as well. Okay, so I'm just using 1% cottage cheese. And I also realized that I only have one egg and I actually need two. So I'm actually just going to use some egg whites. I'm going to show you how easy. I never do recipes that are super finicky. I hope you guys always come to realize that by now. I like stuff that's kind of easy and forgiving and you can work with what you have on hand. So I have some egg whites and one egg and we'll go ahead and use those. I'm also going to grab my vanilla protein powder and gonna grab some vanilla out of the cupboard there as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and also grab my blender cup. All of this is going to be put into a blender and just blend it all together. So we'll go ahead and start measuring that out. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 scoops of my protein powder here. I believe they're 1/4 cup scoops. I've measured them a million times. So 1/2 cup of your vanilla protein powder. This can be done with flavored protein powders as well if you want it to have a little bit of flavor. I've done it with chocolate and done different toppings on here. But honestly, the vanilla it's almost my favorite. I like it just with some fruit or maybe like a little drizzle of honey. So that's just kind of the way that I'm gonna make it tonight, and you're welcome to try whatever flavor you have. Gonna go ahead. I need 2 eggs. Like I said, I only have one, so I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of my egg whites as well, just to equal the amount of 1 egg. No. Okay, and then I'm going to add to that, I need 2 cups of cottage cheese. So this recipe that I'm making today is going to make 5 servings. So I have some little 4-inch round Pyrex dishes that I'll pull out in a little bit, but we're going to be making 5 servings of this cottage cheese cheesecake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure out my cottage cheese. Like I said, I want 2 cups. 1. Okay. I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla down into the blender here. And then I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of Splenda. Splenda. So I have my protein powder, my eggs, my cottage cheese, my Splenda, and my vanilla. So that's what's gone into our blender cup here. I'm just going to clear some things off. So make sure that you can be able to see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go ahead and give that a good blend. Okay, so just gonna put that lid on top. Get things mixing up there. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape down the sides just a little bit. Just to make sure everything blended pretty good. I probably should have put that sponge on the bottom. And that's the best way is to kind of put your powders down on the bottom. And I'm just gonna give that another quick little blend. And I should be good to go. So kind of like a thick cake batter. It's about the consistency that you should have. Show you that there. It's pretty thick and gloopy. That is an official word, gloopy. Okay. So now I'm gonna grab those Pyrex dishes. And like I said, I have 5 of them. And they're about a 4-inch round, maybe about 4¼ inch round Pyrex dish, probably about 2 inches deep. Okay, and these need to be sprayed with some nonstick cooking spray. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and eyeball out an equal amount of batter into each of those dishes. So I'm hoping you can see the consistency there. It really is kind of like a cake batter. It's kind of thick. It does flow, but it's kind of thick and needs to kind of be scraped down from the sides. I'm gonna try and get all of that out of there. These cheesecakes to be as filling as possible. Okay, so some of the things that I've tried in these before, I've made a pumpkin spice version, which I think is the one in the video. It has some pureed pumpkin and some pumpkin spice in the batter, which is super yummy. I've done a chocolate protein powder one as well, like I said, and I think I sprinkled some chocolate chips into that one. I've also done toasted coconut on my vanilla ones here and also on my chocolate ones. And sometimes I just sprinkle it on at the end, just so it's kind of like a nice garnish. This one I'm going to put these ones I'm going to put some fruit. I have some fruit from the freezer. I don't have fresh right now, so I'm just going to use stuff in the freezer. I have blueberries and raspberries. And so I'll probably just do a little bit of that. And I will go ahead and top them once they're cooled and store them in the fridge that way, just so they're easy to grab and go, but you're welcome to garnish them in the moment, right, as you're about to eat them as well, if you want. Okay, so those are about equally dispersed. So I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to transfer them into the oven on this baking pan. Doesn't need to be on a baking pan, but that makes it easy to get it in and out of the oven. I am going to set the timer for 30 minutes. These are going to puff up really big. They're going to cook and they're going to puff and they're a little bit uneven. And I want them to cook until they're no longer wet and runny in the middle. They can be a little bit jiggly. In fact, I want them to be a little bit jiggly so that when they cool down, they kind of have a moistness to them. If we cook them for too long, they're not going to be moist like a cheesecake would be. So they will be a little bit golden on top, but I want that that center to still have just a little bit of jiggle to it. That's just the best consistency that it is. So like I said, I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes on these. We're going to have a look at them when that timer goes. So set your timer, watch your cheesecakes, and we'll come back and meet here when they're done. So the timer just went. It's been 30 minutes. We're going to take these out and I'm going to show you what they look like. Okay, so as you can see, they've grown a ton. They've actually crawled up the sides of the containers and they're kind of like sticking out over top. And that's exactly what they should look like. Okay, so the tops are still kind of jiggly. I'm going to take these and I'm going to set them actually outside. It's a nice cool evening, so I'm gonna set them out there. They're going to shrink back down into the containers as they cool, and that's exactly what I want them to do. Okay, so they're going to shrink back down and I'm going to let them cool almost completely outside there, probably give them another 20 minutes, half an hour outside. Then I'm going to bring them back in and I'm going to top them and I'm going to cover them with saran wrap and I'm going to put them in the fridge. And it is best if you let these chill overnight in the fridge before you eat them. Okay, the consistency of the cake itself will be so much better if you let them sit in the fridge overnight. Just don't dig into them. I know you'll be tempted to, but they won't taste quite like the consistency of cheesecake if you dig into them earlier than waiting overnight. Okay, so I'm going to set these outside and then we'll come back here when they're cool so we can garnish them together. Okay, so here are our cheesecakes. As you can see, they've dropped back down nicely into the containers. Okay, they're still not completely cooled, but I'm going to garnish them, like I said, and we're going to put them in the fridge. So let me grab the garnishes. So for tonight, I'm just going to be doing some blueberries and some raspberries. I might do a little drizzle of honey, just for fun. You're welcome to use fresh fruit if you want, but frozen works just as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and have a spoon. Okay, I like to try to make this look somewhat fancy. Okay, so I'll just kind of set them in by hand. You're welcome to just put a whole spoonful over top of them if you like. Again, I want them to look really appetizing when I pull them out. Okay, so 3 big blueberries on here, and then I'm probably just going to squish a raspberry down in as well. Okay. So, and then I'll find the nice full raspberries. So just gonna play with those. Them to look really nice. More. Okay, so there you can see we have our fruit. Kind of push them down in if you want them to stay. Gonna grab a little drizzle of honey here that I will go ahead and drizzle over top. Again, there are many ideas, so many out there, anything that you could do. Your imagination can run wild with this. I'm just going to do a little drizzle of honey here on each of these. Okay, so there we go. Those are all good to go. They will last as long as you can resist them in the fridge. And seriously, though, they last about, I've had no problems with them for a week. If you want to, and don't get into these, I have actually frozen them before. and then taken them out of the freezer and let them thaw before eating them. I don't think I would microwave them. To thaw them, I would just let them thaw either at room temperature on the counter or in the fridge. So get creative, try a bunch of things, let me know how it turns out, but those are our protein cheesecakes. Okay, I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. They're a really fun addition to your weekly menu, and they'll feel like a really indulgent treat when you enjoy. So happy eating, everyone.